Namaskar. Again, I came with another important video lecture, that is non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs part 3. All the important drugs has been discussed in first part and second part. Some remaining drugs some remaining drugs going to discuss in this lecture. And I request to all, if you think this video lecture is helping you, please subscribe and like my channels. So the mechanism of action, classification of the drugs, and what are the types of pain, so I'll already discuss in video lecture first. And remaining parts of the drugs, paracetamol, ibuprofen, naproxen, diclofenac, nimesulide is discussed in the video lecture 2, and remaining part is selective COX-2 inhibitor. I already discussed on first part कि drug can be classified under 2 heading or under 3 heading. One is non-selective COX inhibitor. So those drugs can going to inhibit either COX-1 or COX-2 both. Another is a preferential COX-2 inhibitor. So this drug going to inhibit COX-1 also, but it given preference to the COX-2. And another is a selective COX-2 inhibitors. So now in this video lecture we'll discuss on selective COX-2 inhibitor. These selective COX-2 inhibitor, they cause little gastric mucosal damage. This occurrence of peptic ulcer and ulcer bleed is clearly lower than with traditional NSAID. They do not depress thromboxane A2 production and do not inhibit platelet aggregation or prolong the bleeding time. They cause little gastric mucosal damage. This traditional NSAID is going to mucosal damage, they are going to precipitate the ulcer, whilst COX-2 inhibitor is very low chance to gastric mucosal damage, and also occurrence of peptic ulcer or ulcer bleed is clearly lower as compared with traditional NSAID. Peptic ulcer के लिए safe है. Those patient who is suffering from peptic ulcer, selective COX-2 inhibitor can be a good drugs, because एक तो लेस म्यूकोसल डैमेज चांसेस है और अल्सर ब्लीड और अकुरेंस ऑफ पेप्टिक अल्सर का भी चांसेस बहुत कम है. सेलेक्टिव COX-2 inhibitor is also good because they do not depress thromboxane A2 production and do not inhibit platelet aggregation or prolong the bleeding time. So it is also not going to inhibit the platelet function. 3 selective COX-2 inhibitor, celecoxib, etirocoxib and paracoxib are available in India. Selective COX-2 inhibitors should be used only in patient and high risk of peptic ulcer, perforation or the bleeds. Because a little gastric mucosal damage, because of little occurrence of peptic ulcer or ulcer bleed, also they are not going to inhibit the platelet function. So this selective COX-2 inhibitor should be used only when the patient at high risk of peptic ulcer or perforation or the bleed. Selective COX-2 inhibitors and cardiovascular risks. As far as safety is concerned, it is very good drug for peptic ulcer patient, but there are very high risks of the cardiovascular diseases. So COX-2 inhibitors reduce endothelial prostaglandin I2 production without affecting platelet thromboxane A2 synthesis. This appears to exert prothrombotic influence and enhance cardiovascular risk. This COX inhibitor going to reduce endothelial prostaglandin I2 without affecting platelet thromboxane A2 synthesis. अब ये रिजल्ट क्या कर रहा है? It enhance the cardiovascular risk. अब मेटा एनालिसिस ऑफ 18 ट्रायल्स with rofecoxib for musculoskeletal disorders has also inferred that it increases the incidence of myocardial infarction. Rofecoxib was a drug nowadays banned. With a selective COX-2 inhibitor, it has been seen that it increases the myocardial infarction. Valdecoxib increase occurrence of myocardial infarction in patient undergoing coronary bypass surgery and severe skin reactions as well. It was withdrawn in 2005. Valdecoxib was also drug which is selective COX-2 inhibitors and also withdrawn in 2005 because of myocardial infarction. There is no clear evidence as yet that etirocoxib or celecoxib are also increases the severe risks. So nowadays the drugs are available in selective COX-2 inhibitor, that is etirocoxib and celecoxib, parecoxib. So there is no clear cut evidence, अभी clear cut evidence नहीं है कि these drugs are also contributing to cardiovascular risks. So nowadays it is using, but it is preference that these drugs should only be used when patient at high risk of peptic ulcer also, because it may cause cardiovascular risk. Because the important drug is nowadays celecoxib, which is prescribed nowadays. This celecoxib is a newer COX-2 inhibitor, has highest COX-2 selectivity, suitable for once a day treatment of osteo, rheumatoid arthritis, acute gouty arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, dysmenorrhea, acute dental surgery pain, similar conditions without affecting platelet function or damaging gastric mucosa. So dose 60 to 120 milligram once a day can be prescribed. Another important drug is celecoxib. This celecoxib anti-inflammatory, analgesic, antipyretic action with low ulcerogenic potentials. Comparative trials in rheumatoid arthritis have found it to be effective as a naproxen. So so many trials are there, and it has been found that the celecoxib is a comparable effect as compared with the naproxen or diclofenac without affecting COX-1 activity in gastroduodenal mucosa. Celecoxib is better than traditional NSAID. Still, abdominal pain, dyspepsia, mild diarrhea, and are the usual side effect. Rashes, edema, small rise in blood pressure have been noted. Approved for the use in osteorheumatoid arthritis in the dose of 100 to 200 milligram twice a daily. Up come to the choice of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. And what are the condition and which condition we can select non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, because we have large number of drugs in non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. Which particular drug can be used in what particular conditions? So that's why let us know what are the conditions and what are the drugs and which are the conditions in which we can use non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs particularly. Mild to moderate pain with little inflammation, paracetamol or low dose of ibuprofen can be used. Again I am repeating, please be remember, mild to moderate pain with little inflammation, paracetamol or low dose of ibuprofen can be used. Post-operative or similar acute but short-lasting pain, ketorolac, ibuprofen or diclofenac can be used. Acute musculoskeletal, osteoarthritic, injury-associated pain, paracetamol, ibuprofen and diclofenac can be used. A parenteral NSAID may be employed for. Parenteral NSAID means the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs can be given intravenously or parenterally in renal colic, acute gout, acute back pain, dental pain, fractures, other grievous trauma. These three NSAID via ketorolac, diclofenac, parecoxib are available for intramuscular and intravenous use. In gastric intolerance to traditional NSAID, those conditions where gastric intolerance is occurred with traditional NSAID और predisposed patient जो already gastric ulcer से predisposed है, these types of patient, selective COX-2 inhibitor or paracetamol can be used. Arthritis patient who are dependent on NSAID have developed peptic ulcer must receive concurrent proton pump inhibitor as gastroprotective. अब जितने भी पेशेंट जो गैस्ट्रिक इंटॉलरेंस है उसमें तो आप सिलेक्टिव COX-2 इनहिबिटर दे सकते हैं और पैरासीटामोल से अगर पॉसिबल है तो पैरासीटामोल देना चाहिए. बट with these drugs can also be prescribed proton pump inhibitor which is gastroprotective. Patient with history of asthma or anaphylactic reaction to aspirin or other NSAID then nemosalide or COX-2 inhibitor can be given. ऐसा पेशेंट जिसको अस्थमा का हिस्ट्री हो और एनाफिलैक्टिक रिएक्शन होने के चांस हो तो उसमें हम नेमोसलाइड और COX-2 इनहिबिटर देना चाहिए. बट अगेन आई एम रिपीटिंग, नेमोसलाइड कजेज हेपाटिक टॉक्सिसिटी. So it is also banned in India in children. So I request to does not prescribe nemosilide because of hepatotoxicity, है ना, if the other measures are available. Patients with hypertension or other risk factor for the heart attack or stroke, then avoid selective COX-2 inhibitor. I have already discussed COX-2 inhibitor has cardiovascular disease risk. So ऐसा पेशेंट में अगर कार्डियोवास्कुलर डिसीज़ के चांस है और रिस्क है तो उसमें सिलेक्टिव COX-2 इनहिबिटर को नहीं देना चाहिए. प्रोपैनिक एसिड डेरिवेटिव पैरासीटामोल एसिप्रिन में बी यूज एट द लोवेस्ट डोज फॉर द शॉर्टेस्ट पीरियड. इसमें आपको पैरासीटामोल और एसिप्रिन यूज करना चाहिए इन द लोअर डोज. इन पेडियाट्रिक पेशेंट्स ओनली पैरासीटामोल, aspirin, ibuprofen and naproxen have been adequately evaluated in children. जितने भी नॉन स्टेरॉइडल एंटी इन्फ्लेमेटरी ड्रग्स है उसमें से पैरासीटामोल, एस्पिरिन, आइबुप्रोफेन एंड नाप्रोक्सेन को हाईली इवेल्युएट किया गया है इन चिल्ड्रेन में. सो दीज आर द ड्रग्स कैन बी यूज इन द चिल्ड्रेन. वन ऑफ दीज शुड बी प्रिफर्ड इन द चिल्ड्रेन बट ड्यू टू रिस्क ऑफ रेस सिंड्रोम एस्पिरिन शुड बी अवॉइडेड. अब इसमें मैं आपको बता दूं 4 ड्रग्स है, पैरासीटामोल है, एसिप्रिन है, आइबुप्रोफेन है, नाप्रोक्सेन है. चारों ड्रग्स सेफ है इन द चिल्ड्रेन. तो चारों में से कोई ड्रग आप चिल्ड्रेन में यूज कर सकते हो. एसिप्रिन अवॉइड करना चाहिए जहां पे रेस सिंड्रोम होने के चांस हो, लेकिन पैरासीटामोल ऑल्सो कॉजेज हेपाटोटॉक्सिसिटी, हेपाटिक नेक्रोसिस. सो इट शुड बी कंसिडर्ड, यू हैव टू टेक प्रिकॉशन दैट डोज ऑफ पैरासीटामोल शुड नॉट बी इंक्रीज. डोज ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए, हाई डोज नहीं होना, टॉक्सिक डोज नहीं होना चाहिए. सो यू हैव टू कंसिडर दिस. द फास्ट एक्टिंग ड्रग फॉर्मुलेशन इज सुटेबल फॉर फीवर, हेडेक एंड अदर शॉर्ट लास्टिंग पेन, while longer acting drugs sustained release formulation appropriate for chronic arthritic pain. अब फॉर्मुलेशन में जैसे अब क्या हो सकता है, इंजेक्टेबल है, टैबलेट है, कैप्सूल है, तो जो फास्टर एक्शन होगा उसको फीवर हेडेक के लिए प्रिस्क्राइब करना चाहिए. जो लॉन्गर एक्शन होगा जैसे वो क्रोनिक पेन में अप्रोप्रिएट फॉर क्रोनिक अथराइटिक पेन में आप दे सकते हैं. एल्डरली पेशेंट में यूज ऑफ लोअर डोज ऑफ चोजन एनसेट. एल्डरली पेशेंट में सेफ है बट आपको लोअर डोज चूज करना चाहिए. प्रेगनेंसी में पैरासीटामोल इज सेफेस्ट, लो डोज ऑफ एस्पिरिन इज प्रोबेबली द सेकेंड बेस्ट. प्रेगनेंसी में हमेशा पैरासीटामोल को चूज करना चाहिए. इट इज़ अ सेफ ड्रग इन प्रेग्नेंट वोमेन and second most safest drug is aspirin in the low dose of aspirin. So thank you.